Hey everyone, welcome. One second while I admit everyone. Go ahead and record this if you want. I'll be recording too. Go ahead and give me some signs of life if you can hear me, either in the chat or if you have your camera on, give me a thumbs up, something. Cool. All right, looks like we got everyone in, so I'm going to get started. Welcome. I do these live build calls every week where we build a bot from scratch, plug it into a Go high level CRM in some sort of custom way. On this one, we're going to test the bot we make and we're going to troubleshoot. So this will be great for those people who want to learn more about how to troubleshoot things. We're also going to be attaching a couple uploads and it'll give us a good opportunity to troubleshoot um, uploads as well. So let's get started. Okay, first of all, I'm going to do the most annoying part and create a new sub account. We're just going to do a blank sub account. Typical 123 Main Street. Sure, this place is great. We're going to do a chiropractor bot today. That's not a real phone number. So don't think that's me if you call it. It's not. Might be someone. Okay, so we have our account made. I'm going to actually do a little bit more of the high level side first. Let's go into this sub account. Now, here's where a lot of you guys will be better than me at this. On the Go high level side, I did this for the first time last time, and it was a really slick way to test our bots. I'm going to go into sites, chat widget, add a new live chat widget. This is fine for us. I could edit this chat widget. Most of you probably know how to do this. And I'm going to save. The important thing is we need it to be a live chat. Okay, and we see we have a live chat widget there. Next, I'm going to go to create a website. Let's create a blank one. Add a new page. Hopefully I was supposed to add the backslash there. It shouldn't matter. Okay, now we can go into settings. Or maybe it's edit. How was it? Oh, I remember how they did it. Settings up here. Chat widget, that one. There we go. So now this test page has a chat widget on it. We can open up this link. The preview link should work. Maybe I have to edit it first. I have to add something there. So let's create a section and just put something here. There we go. Save it. Okay, now I should be able to preview this. And there's our chat widget. I can test it out if I wanted to by typing something, and I would see that a contact is created over in my contacts. Let's go ahead and do that. So if you're looking for a quick way to spool up something that can test a bot, this is a great way to do it. You could spool up a new account for that person that you're trying to convert, training an AI for them, and have them interact with this anywhere accessible preview URL. And then they can just access your test page and interact with the bot. Easy enough. So now that we got that part working, let's come in here and create a new bot. I'll create it from the fitness template. And let's connect it to this new account that I made. All my 123 Main Streets. I may have to rename it. Here, what's it called? Okay, this one. So that's the one. I just click it, wait a few seconds. I'll be redirected. And then I could come over here and see that I am, in fact, connected to that account. Okay, now let's go through here. Chiropractic Bot. It'll be called Sam. I'm going to add 0 additional delay. Just because it is a web chat, I want it to be as fast as possible. I'm not going to have it stop or upset lead. This person's contacting me. I don't assume they're going to get upset. And turning that check for upset lead on will take an additional about 1 second to process some of your responses. So I'll leave that off. I'll allow multi-objective handling, which allows it to update multiple fields in one response. Oh, let's do just a small percentage of typos. Let's break up most of our larger messages. There's no prohibited words in this space. Okay, let me save that. Okay, now I'm actually going to share a different screen. I'm on a Mac, so I have numbers. I don't even have Excel on here. Actually, I'll open a Google Sheet. That'll be better. Okay, so I have this chiropractic office, and maybe I have a list of services that I want to be able to offer. I have the service name, price, um, what else might I want? Description. So basic adjustment, cupping, basic massage, deep massage, body analysis. Okay. Just making some stuff up here. Cool. So I'm going to download this. It has a CSV. And let's go into our knowledge storage section. So I'm going to select that I want to do an upload. Need to give it a title. And then we'll select our file. Advanced settings, I'm just going to leave this off, have it do the default, and we'll load it. So I see there now that it's loading. We do need to refresh the screen if we want to see an updated an update as to whether that's usable. I'll go ahead and refresh the screen. I see that that's been loaded successfully. So that's been loaded into my library. That's not attached to any bots yet. But first, let's go find a Chiro website that we can put in here as well. I went to my chiropractor yesterday. That's why this is in my mind. We'll give him a little plug by using his website. Um, what's on the homepage? Yeah, we'll just use the homepage. This does not, it doesn't scrape the sitemap, so it's just going to scrape one page at a time. But that's okay for us. We actually really don't want to scrape a sitemap because there's a lot of garbage in websites. We want to control what's scraped and what's not. Let's see if this is protected. Some sites are protected against scraping, so you would see an error saying forbidden. This one's not. We're good. So we have our sheet and we have our website. Let's go back to our bot. Okay, I'm going to attach Chiro website. The sample, I'm going to save that. Now, do note that it takes up to 10 minutes after you click apply for these to be actually on your bot. If I were to refresh the page and these weren't blue anymore, don't worry, come back, refresh. When they do show up as blue permanently, that's when they're on your bot. Okay, let's go to this main section now. And let's fill out all the sections we have. Usually I kind of breeze through this main section, but I want to show you best practices. So why the conversation's happening. If I hover over this, I get some more details about what we want in here. So it says, use this section to tell your bot why this conversation's happening. Is this an inbound lead, a cold outreach contact? Did they fill out a form? Keep it simple, but set your bot up for success by letting it know what to expect. I have access to this variable called @lead_name. I could easily just say the contact or the user as well, whatever. This will get replaced with the contact name when the bot is reading its instructions. So I'm going to use @lead_name. With you through your website portal, they likely have questions about your services. So that's simple enough. It just needs to know why the conversation's happening. Important business information. Now, when we upload information, that information is only pulled in as needed. However, there may be information that you want the bot to always have access to. Really important things that you think it always needs to know. You don't want to risk it deciding whether to pull it in or not. And this will depend on the industry, depend on the business. For me here, let's put, now this will also kind of shape the voice a little bit. As we're teaching it about the business, it'll kind of start to assume its role. So let's put some stuff in here. Let's put Jason is the head of the office and the one who will be doing the service. He's a sports guy, so he works well with other athletes because he understands the importance of them getting back out and moving ASAP. So when I said the bot will assume the voice a little bit in this section, it's kind of seeing how I'm typing. So I used ASAP, for example. So knowingly or not, I'm teaching the bot that that's okay by speaking that way to it. So in addition to this bot voice, which we haven't adjusted yet, it's also learning from how you're giving it instruction and this how to respond section, which we haven't filled out yet. What else? We see people of all ages and situations, and we pride our office in being a holistic, focused medical or holistic focused practice. Sure. So now in this how to respond, if the person asks you a question, make sure you answer that question. I'm going to say, don't tell them you're a bot. Up to you. A lot of people expect to be engaging with AI at this point, especially if it's a web chat. I think it's okay to tell people or not explicitly tell your bot not to say it a bot. It's a bot. But we'll leave that. I do like to put this part though. Don't use the person's name in your responses unless you must. I'm just going to say don't use the person's name in your responses. And don't say exclamatory things like absolutely. This is just after all my time witnessing how bots behave, some instruction that I want to give my bot just so it sounds better. Finally, up here, caring, relaxed. I like relaxed because it makes it less enthusiastic. AI, based on the information that at least OpenAI's model was trained at, really likes to be enthusiastic, and I want to kind of chill that out. If I put up here fun and friendly, it's going to compound on what it already naturally does and be very annoying. So we'll do caring and relaxed. I do like that. And let's save it. Now for objectives. I need to think about what I want this bot to do. Of course, it's going to answer questions as they come up, but maybe I want it to book an appointment on my calendar. Let's go make a calendar. I'll do a round robin. Oh, I actually don't have any team members. Maybe a simple calendar. I could get fancy. I'm not going to get fancy. So you saw we have services that are different time durations. I could have, say, 3 different calendars. Then I could have an objective to find out what service they want. Actually, let's just do it. Yeah, I'm going to do it. Sorry, guys. If you're here and you're here for more of the basics, that's fine. I'll talk through it in a clear way. Hopefully, we'll all get through it. It's not that complex to set up something dynamic. So I just want to do it for you guys. 30-minute appointment, sure. Maybe we'll just say 30-minute random characters. Now check this out. I have this permanent ID. That's going to be important later. It's also right here. I'm just going to duplicate. Maybe. We're going to make our first objective to determine what type of service they want. Okay, that's taking too long. I'm going to make a custom field that's a multi-line, multi-drop-down, or drop-down single. There we go. And just say type of service. General. And let me go back to my list that I made. Basic adjustment, cupping. Basic massage, deep massage. Body analysis. Perfect. So we have this field with all those different options. I need to refresh the screen to make that show up in my drop-down. So I'm going to go ahead and click off to a different bot and back to that one, since I just made that field. So for this one, type of service, we see the options here, but the bot won't know those options until it's going to update the field. So I need to make sure that I tell it what those options are. Let's say determine the type of chiropractic service this person is interested in. And then we want to keep this as short as possible. I really like it when it doesn't go off the view here. And then we can put extra information in here. And I'm actually just going to put these right here. I'm going to leave this stuff alone. Max attempts would mean if it's set to 2, we're going to try to get the type of service up to 2 times. And if we don't get it, we're going to move on to the next objective and skip this one. We're not going to do that. We'll set it up. This is perfect, just like this. Type of service, and then determine how long the person's been dealing with their issues. That's important. We won't update a field on that. I could easily have a field that it updates. And then we're going to do a calendar update. Now, here's where I could select the calendar from the dropdown. It takes a little while for the Go High Level calendar to update and then be available in here. It's not in here yet, which is fine because we're not going to use that yet. We're going to make it dynamic. So we need another field called calendar ID. I'll put it in additional info because I don't really need to see it. And then we're going to do something in an automation. Oh, look at that. I didn't even load the snapshot yet. See, all this, a lot of this is just Go High Level stuff. This part with the bot is not hard. Let's load this snapshot. I could click that link right there. I already have it loaded in here, so I'm just going to go back to the agency view. One, two, three Main Street. Let's load the CloseBot snapshot in here. I think these are all the same. Oh, let's use own. Yeah, we'll do this one. And skip some stuff. Yeah, we'll just continue with everything. It's fine. You don't have to skip anything when you're loading our snapshot. Okay, let's go back to here. Sometimes it takes a little bit for the workflows to show up in automation. Oh, not this time. Now we start process message workflow as draft because this is what sends the instruction to your bot to come up with a response. So let's publish this. Okay. Now I'm going to create a workflow where when the contact has changed and type of service has changed, I'm just going to have the one calendar for now, but you'll get the idea. Determine calendar to route. So if type of service updates to, can't remember which, maybe basic adjustment was a 30-minute. If it updates to basic adjustment, that's going to route to the 30-minute calendar. And then if I had a 45-minute calendar that I made, if it's, I think cupping was one, or basic massage. Let's do the 45-minute calendar, otherwise 60-minute calendar. And then here, I'll just be updating the contact field calendar ID with the calendar ID that I want to be used. Let me see what that calendar ID was. Oh, I do have two different calendars now. So, oh, one's from my snapshot. I'll just edit this one and make it a 45. Oh, that's not what I want. There. This is my 45-minute calendar. Then I could create a 60-minute calendar. I'm not going to do that right now. We'll just go back to our calendars. This is the 31. So let's copy that ID and say, okay, we're doing the 30-minute, update the field to be that. If we're doing the 45 one, update it to that. And then we're just going to say the 60-minute is the same as the 30-minute. I would create a new calendar for the 60-minute. But in lieu of time, I'll just leave it this way. You get the idea. Then I'll come in here. And instead of putting a calendar ID in here, I'm going to go to my custom fields, calendar ID right here. I can put a variable in there. You can put variables like this anywhere throughout the bot settings. We're just going to say book an in-person appointment. Okay, so we're all set up. What do you say we go and test this thing? Okay, so we connected it. And there are always problems that come up. So we'll be able to troubleshoot some stuff. Okay, so we got a response. That's great. That's the first step. I could go to the dashboard and see this response. Now I can see here it's working right now on type of service. I can click the message, and the most important one is main. I'll click over to main. Here is all the instruction it had to determine what to say. Now here's something I noticed and something to be aware of when you're using these templates. There were some things down here in the advanced training. I'm going to delete those. This section really shouldn't be used unless you really know what you're doing. Some people do need it, but most people do not. Okay, go back to the dashboard. Okay, so here's all the instruction it had. Here is the information it pulled in from our knowledge base as well. Pretty cool. Okay, now let's test it a little bit. How much is the deep tissue? And what is that for? Okay, so it looks like it pulled in the right information. CSVs are really good for this type of stuff. If you have a list of services and prices, descriptions, or links, it's really good for that. 95. Perfect. And let's verify. Let's go into, I'm just going to type something in here and delete it to bring in the new messages. I'm going to click this. And it looks like we have a check mark here. That means it completed an objective. And now it's working on the duration of problem. I can click it and see that it updated type of service to be deep massage. And let's click through some of these. So when we're using a library, the first step that it does is we tell, and now this can be kind of scary, but trust us, we're telling it to just come up with a response. We're telling it to lie pretty much and just come up with something. And we're using a pretty weak model to do that new 4.0 model. Now we take this lie and we convert it to something called an embedding. You guys don't have to understand this. The embedding allows us to search information we have in our knowledge base that looks something like that lie that it came up with. Now, after we do that, we're going to summarize what's needed. The user needs to know the cost and purpose of a deep tissue massage. And then we take all that information, we take the lie, pull in relevant search results. Here's what it pulled in. And we take that summary that we found that they need, and it summarizes the information here in context. And then this is what it's going to put finally into our main prompt. A lot of services, you'll find that you upload a bunch of information and they just are not good at staying on task. And that's because they don't summarize the library items. They just pull all of your context in that's relevant and load it into your prompt and say, good luck. Now we summarize it. So it only has relevant information when it's going to decide how to respond. We also see up here when it's deciding whether or not to complete the goal, anything above a 50, it'll complete. So it decided that, we completed the goal of determining the type of chiropractic service they're interested in. Here's the step where it's parsing information, where it's pulling in the information based on the options. And finally, determining what it's going to say. Now let's go back here. I just want to see what it's going to do. I didn't really give it a time. While that's processing, I do want to come in here and look at our execution logs for this. What should have happened is it should have updated that field for type of service. It was in general info, yep, type of service. And then that triggered the other workflow to update our field calendar ID. So it should be using this calendar ID now to book our appointment. Let's go in and put eyes on this message. So it went ahead and took that as an acceptable duration of the problem, which is fine. I didn't give it any specificity in the extra prompt saying we need an exact time in weeks. Like, that's fine. I'm not going to cause friction if someone wants to book an appointment. And then I see that it pulled in some availability. Let's go back here and say, I'm actually booked this week. How about next week? Okay, cool. And yeah, that's my calendar. No one booked anything yet. So it's given a range, which is amazing because it's much easier to work with a range than saying we're open Monday at 9 o'clock, 9:30, 10 o'clock, or 2, that doesn't sound human. This sounds human. Let's do Tuesday at 9 a.m. Tuesday at 9. Okay, let's go back over to here. Okay, it has accomplished an objective. I see it was working on booking, so it accomplished the booking. Let's go look at the contact. Okay, I see that. 9 a.m. Perfect. So hopefully you guys learned a little bit about how we troubleshoot things. If you ever need to know why a bot said something, you should never have to ask why a bot said something. You should always know exactly why it said what it said by going to main. Now, you might say, why is it working on this objective? Or why did it pull in this information? Those are valid questions, but you always know why it said what it said. Its exact instruction is here. There's nothing hidden about this. Okay, I'm going to open it up for questions. Let me open up my participants list. Go ahead and raise your hand if you have questions. In the participants list, click hand raise, and I'm going to check the chat as well. Okay, so before I get to the questions, let's look through the chat. There's quite a bit in here, so reiterate your questions if you still have questions, if they weren't answered in the chat. Custom field in the knowledge storage website URL field, no. No, you cannot use it in there. Anywhere in the bot settings page, not in the knowledge section. How do you make sure it suggests the next available slot on the calendar? Trouble with it suggesting later times when sooner times are available. I assume you're, correct me if I'm wrong, Michael. I assume you're talking specifically about when someone says, like, can I come in now, or can I book now, or what's available ASAP. There was an issue with that when people were using non-standard times, like start times on the 5-minute mark, 15-minute mark, with now requests for booking, and that's been fixed. If you find that it's not been fixed, let us know. Okay, when they say mornings are good, it just depends. If you have non-standard start times, like on the 5-minute mark, the bot is only allowed to pull in so much information. So instead of allowing it to pull in 9, 9:05, 9:10, 9:15, we have it pull in a random list of availability times. Yeah, 15 minutes going to be one of those that we don't do ranges for. So it's going to pull in a list of times instead of ranges. So 30-minute start times, 30-minute intervals, and 60 minutes are going to work way better if you can. If not, send examples to our support, and we can try to do more updates to it. Let's go to some of our questions. Ahead. Sure, I'm not saying your name right. Sorry, but I like to try. Go for it. Oh, let me find you and unmute you. There you go.
Yo, hello. How you doing, Bryce?
Hold on. I cannot hear you.
Can you hear me
I'll
now?
check my audio.
Yeah.
I'm the problem. You're not the problem. Okay, there you go.
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
How you doing, bro?
great.
All right, so I had a question about booking appointments with the bot. So basically, the simple calendar in GHL, it allows you to have like multiple appointments per slot, but it doesn't allow you to have overlapping appointments. But well, I did have overlapping appointments. I was able to do that through the API with GHL. But I'm not sure how we can do that with the bot to like have it make overlapping appointments without having to have multiple calendars for every type of service and all that.
It's going to pull in whatever availability Go High Level gives us. So sounds like you're at least fairly familiar with API stuff. You can go click any of the messages where it's recommending times, click
Yeah,
logs, and then I can see the get calendars. Here are the
yeah,
slots High Level is giving me. And we work off this. So if they're giving us slots that match what you're looking for, great. We're working with it. If not, there's no way for us to modify because this is what they
yeah.
tell us is available. Does that make
So,
sense?
so I cannot have a way to like actually make the bot book overlapping appointments that are not in the slots that's mentioned by GHL.
Got it. So that kind of thing wouldn't really be possible through this because we have our backend logic that's very rigid, very combed through and curated to provide the best booking experience possible based on the availability that High Level delivers to us. Make
Yeah,
sense?
I get that. Yeah, I get that. Thank you, Bryce. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see. Corey.
Hello, Professor Bryce.
Hi, Corey.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Awesome. Saw a video of you mentioning that you're going to be changing the workflows that are included. And one of the things I've done in one of the workflows is, I think it was last communication type and process message, we built like a Facebook spam filter in there. And I'm just wondering, like, when you switch over these workflows, like, do we lose a certain amount of customization, or is it just going to make it easier to onboard users?
Yeah, it won't break any existing things with the workflows. We always make it backwards compatible, so nothing will break. Yeah,
Got it.
it's just for new accounts. It'll be easier to stand them up.
Right. Are we still able to customize it, or
Yeah.
we'll just lose access to that?
Yeah, you'll still be able to customize it. It'll just be a little
Cool.
different, be simpler.
Okay. Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Jason.
Hi there.
Hi.
Well, one question that I had that I was hoping if you have time to go through, and I know you've done a video on this, and but when you do it, you make it look so easy. The classic kind of thing about people wanting to reschedule or cancel their their appointments, but actually the more relevant question that I kind of have is, we're talking here, these appointment bookings are all like one-on-one appointments. How would you handle something if you were doing like a webinar or a presentation where you have a group of people? For example, if you're doing, say, 3 sessions, in one day, and you've got like 10 spaces per session, and so you're inviting people to choose which one out of the 3 sessions, and and then you're kind of filling up 10 slots. Does that make sense? How would you approach that
Yeah,
logically?
it shouldn't really change any. We have, for example, our demo calls, and I think we have like 100 slots, which we won't fill, but say they were to fill, Go High Level would just stop delivering the availability for that time slot to us. So your bot would no longer recommend that slot.
But that's presumably a different calendar.
What's that?
Is that presumably a different calendar?
We have one calendar. Do you have multiple calendars? Is that what
Well,
it is?
no. But and what you're looking at, you're bringing in, appointments, and in the case of the chiropractor, if I book a slot, from 9 till 10, presumably no one else can book that slot. So how does it work if I've actually got 10 10 people could come to that slot?
You would just modify your calendar settings in Go High Level to say that 10 slots are available.
I haven't seen that.
Let's go into here. Calendar settings. Edit. Availability. Bookings per slot.
Okay.
So we
Okay.
just set this to 10, and then it handles it.
Yeah. Perfect. I've probably seen it 50 times. I just never really thought about that.
Okay. There's a lot of stuff in here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good.
Perfect.
Dave.
How you doing, Bryce?
Good.
Good deal. Good to see you. Hey, for everybody's sake, I'm in wholesale doing cold text out to predictive list leads, and that we decided to go with some Chris Voss style calibrated no oriented questions. So in other words, instead of asking somebody if they're interested in selling, we're saying something like, how are we saying it? It seems, or would you have an objection to parting ways with your property? something like that, so that you're actually soliciting a no response, which is positive, moves the conversation forward. So I went into the interest objective in CloseBot, and in the advanced portion, or the additional prompt portion of the objective, that's where I instructed CloseBot that they're going to be answering a no-orientated question, and it seems to be working. Before, when I would test the bot and say no, it would close down and say, okay, if you let us know if you have interest, in the future of selling your property. Now, when I just put in the no, it correctly seems to move the conversation forward. Is that the best way you would think of handling that?
I'm of the mind where, hey, if it's working, don't mess with it. So
Okay.
if it's working, yes, is the answer.
Super. Okay.
Yeah, you're good.
You mentioned something earlier about don't use this section unless you really know what you're doing, or something like that. And I was like,
well, I'll share an article. Just make sure you go through this, because it may sound better, but not be as good at updating fields and accomplishing the objective when it's supposed to. And that's what we want to be careful of with that field. Advanced conversation training for objectives. I'm going to share this in chat right there. This goes through how to use that section. Most importantly, learning the rating, learning what that means.
okay.
Okay. Well, guys, I have to hop off, but if you have any leftover questions from this, it's going to be posted on YouTube. You can review it. You can post comments on the YouTube video. You can also go to the Facebook group and ask questions there. We have our certified preferred partners in there. They love helping people out. They're great. I'm in there multiple times a day. We just want to make sure everyone's finding as much success as possible with this. But thank you for joining. I'm going to go get to work on stuff because we have some cool features coming. The most, the soonest one being the AI off on manual response, which is going to be killer for those people who are annoyed with their clients manually responding to people, and then the bot responding, and they get mad. Now, if with this setting turned on, the bot will automatically turn off if someone manually sends a message, whether that be text message, Facebook message, Instagram, whatever channel. If you manually send a message through the app, you can have it shut the bot off. That should be live on Friday. Okay. Thanks, everyone. We'll get this recording up ASAP. Bye.